Review of our first lab. Just to remind you of what the objectives were. We're going to explore the actions window using a frame script, explore the use of basic navigation commands unique to Flash, explore the use of the trace function, and use the trace functions to explore what you've learned about variables. I'm going to go pretty fast because I'm trying to keep this under 5 minutes, which is the Google limit for YouTube. Remember, you can pause, rewind, whatever you need to do if I'm going too fast. Let's just listen to it again. All right. In class, we created a new Flash program using the ActionScript 3 option. And once that comes up, I went through a section where I reminded you about how frames work. So if you look closely down here at this window here, we have a frame that actually shows an empty keyframe. That little circle there indicates that that keyframe is in fact empty. So in class, what we did was we created a very simple animation consisting of a circle, which we then converted into a symbol. Of type movie clip. We called it blue circle. And then we created a very simple basic tweened animation by converting this frame at 25 to a keyframe. On that frame we move to the other side, and then we create a classic tween between them. And now we should be able to scrub and see that animation work. Alright, go ahead and name my layer blue circle, and I told you there was an etiquette to using layers in Flash. We create a special layer at the top for scripts and another layer at the very top for labels. That's where your frame labels are going to be. We went ahead and we named our frame label by selecting the frame and then finding our our properties window. And I'll just give it a name of start. I'll add a keyframe at the end by converting this into a keyframe, a blank keyframe. I'll call that end. You won't be able to see it because there's no frame off to the outside. You can see that there is in fact a frame label there because of that little flag that appears, extreme close-up. That little flag that appears tells you that there is in fact a frame label there. Alright, if you really want to see the label, you can insert a frame at the end, not a keyframe, just a frame. And now you can see the label. We also created a frame at about 15, and we called it middle for the purposes of our exercise. Alright, I introduced you to several commands in scripts, and we use the actions window to do our work there. So the actions window appears down here. Actually, in class it appeared free floating, so I'll go ahead and pull this out. And we started with a stop command. That's the simplest command that you can issue in Flash. Let's go ahead and save this. And now when I run this with Control Enter, we can see that nothing happens. It's just sitting there. That's because that stop command is executing the way it's supposed to. If we take this out and we save it and run it, we can see that the Flash movie plays back. So the stop command obviously just stops playback. Okay, the next thing I showed you was the play command, which is the opposite of the stop command. So for all intents and purposes, this is going to do the same thing as not having a stop command at all. So it's going to go ahead and stop it, but immediately following that, it's going to go ahead and play it. So those are your two commands for starting and stopping movies in Flash. The other thing I showed you was how to do comments. If you preface a line with 2 slashes like that, then whatever follows it is going to be ignored on that line. If you want to do a multi-line comment, you can do it like that and enclose them between a slash and an asterisk, and then an asterisk and a slash, and that's a multi-line comment. Those are used for documentation, and also sometimes, as you saw me do a minute ago, you can comment out lines of code to get them out of the way. Alright, the other two things that I showed you were over our 5-minute time limit, so hopefully we can get this done pretty quickly. Go to and stop. You can do a frame number, like 15. And that's great. It's going to stop at frame 15. Or the other thing you can do is you can send in the label name. And when we run that, it'll do the exact same thing. Okay, in addition to go to and stop, you can also do go to and play. You can imagine what the difference will be. Instead of stopping, it will actually begin playback at that marker. So that is a very fast 7-minute version of our lab. Hopefully Google will still take it even though I'm 2 minutes over. Hope to see you in the next class.